Hello and welcome to Same Cast Different Day podcast. I am Martel Roland.
And I am Tina Marie.
So right before we was about to go live, uh, we got a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode. But right before it was about to go live, there was a story coming out about Adriana Smith. What's her last? That's her last name. The woman that's in Georgia that's on life support. Um, So there are stories being told that the family is going to have to pick up the cost of her being on life support and the child's birth. And I had the same reaction. So I'm still doing some digging to see if that is the true story. And if it is, it's just almost like why would you make the family like it's already a forced thing. The 7 year old still think that his mom is just sleeping. So at what point do we just be like, you know what, we're gonna pick up the it's why would you just force that type of bill onto the family who's already struggling? They haven't really started grieving yet because they can't grieve until the funeral or after the funeral. Like, I don't know, I don't know. It just needs to make sense. And right now nothing is making sense to me about the story.
Well, I would like to have a look at the
But and
whatever
before we
law.
so you're talking about the no heart the heartbeat thing. So they basically saying that you in the state of Georgia you cannot abort a child if there's a heartbeat. So if they do an ultrasound and hear a heartbeat, you cannot get an abortion.
So why do they feel like it's a loophole for a woman to be brain dead, right?
Dead or alive. I'm
She's
sorry, y'all.
brain
My kids
dead.
have a
Yeah.
yeah.
Unfortunately. And they're saying that they have to keep her alive because she's pregnant and the baby has a heartbeat.
Yes, that's correct.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that's what I was saying.
That's
But
crazy.
I would
And
have
I kind of feel like it shouldn't even pertain, you know what I'm saying, to that circumstance because
you gotta move
like
closer to your mic.
she is not going to without being on life support, she won't live, you know. So
Right.
like that law shouldn't pertain to her.
Right. It shouldn't, but according to them, that I guess because of the heartbeat, whether you're dead or alive, you got to carry out the term of the pregnancy, which is I find very bananas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, before we get things going, we're not going to let the government, get away from this. We're going to make sure that they're able to. We're going to keep talking about this and make sure that this story don't go away about Kilmar Abrea Garcia, who is still over in El Salvador, who was detained and deported unlawfully from the United States. So we're going to make sure that this story keep being shot around. I mean, being heard until they bring Kilmar back from El Salvador, which there was an order from the Supreme Court to facilitate his return back to the U.S., and which this current administration is still refusing to do. So we're going to make sure we keep this story going until Kilmar is back home here in the U.S. with his family. Now, in case you guys don't know, they move forward with this big, beautiful bill that Donald Trump wanted to get passed. And for those of you who don't really know what's inside the bill, we're going to go through some of the things that's inside the bill that will affect everyday Americans, and some of the things that the Republican Party also lied about. So Republicans are said they are just cutting Medicaid. They're cutting for Medicare also. So after they said they wasn't going to touch Medicaid and Medicare, they're going back on what they were saying, and now they're planning on doing cuts to Medicaid and Medicare. The Congressional Budget Office, which is called the CBO, has released an analysis, and it came that the Republican backed budget plan would increase the federal deficit by $3.8 trillion over the next decade. This projection is primarily due to extensive tax cuts, including extension of the 2017 Tax Cut and Jobs Act, which are not fully offset by proposed spending reductions. Now, the whole point of Doge was to eliminate, fraud, waste, and abuse within the government, And it seemed like all they did was cut from things that the normal everyday person would use and need to pay for these tax cuts for the top 1%. They said they have received confirmation last night that Medicare cuts are on the way. Due to the size of the federal deficit and requirements of the Pay Go Act, automatic spending reductions will be triggered. As a result, Medicare is expected to face over $500 billion in cuts, with the Congressional Budget Office officially estimating the total at $535 billion.
That's
Um,
a lot of money.
that it's a ton of money.
That's a
Um,
lot of money.
yeah, and it's gonna be a lot of people who, but so who's at that bottom 15% who's gonna be affected the most by these budget cuts, because basically now Medicaid and Medicare is only gonna be available to people with disabilities or working class people. So if you basically a single person, no job, no and you're not no kids and everything, you're not doing anything, you're just living off the system, you will be cut from having health insurance. The congressional office reports that the GOP sorry, fuck, where am I at? I heard a sound in my ear. You threw me off. Wait, I don't know where I'm at. Which bullet point am I on? Okay. Oh, the Congressional Budget Office reports that GOP because I can hear you laughing. I can't see you on the screen, but I can hear you laughing, and it's not. You cannot do that. Oh well, where did I start at? Uh, this bill would negatively. This is all Tina's fault. I just want y'all to know that this is all Tina's fault. I don't know if she heard the sound either, but my computer made a sound and it just threw me off a little bit. Did you hear the sound?
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't just me. Okay. Okay. Whew. Okay. Whatever. The reconsideration bill will negatively impact the poorest 10% of Americans while providing benefits for the wealthiest 10%. The analysts for the 2026 through 2034 period outlined the following overall impacts. The federal deficit is projected to increase by 33.8 billion and this is due to tax changes, including the extension of the previous from the 2017 tax law, which affects both revenue and spending, refundable tax credits, federal citizenship shit.
So I
Uh,
guess
oh wait,
my
wait, wait.
question is
So
where's all this money going?
to give them that for so the tax cut that he promised, the top what they said was the top 10%. So the tax cut that he promised to them, that's where this money is going for. So he needed in order to give them the tax cuts that he promised, that tax cut would cost $4 trillion to give that top 10% that tax cut, which is where this money is going. This is and within after I believe this 10-year process for Medicaid will be reduced by $698 billion. I believe the current budget for Medicare is $8 billion a year. So, and they're planning on cutting it by $698 billion. The federal spending on SNAP will decrease by 667 billion. I'm so off today. $1 billion. Uh, there would be a net reduction of $64 billion in spending across other areas. This includes higher spending on defenses, immigration enforcement, homeland security, um, partially offset by cuts in federal pension. Oh my God, they cutting people pensions too.
Bye.
And changes to related to emissions regulations. Whew, I didn't know they was come federal workers pensions. States will see a net increase of 78 billion in spending, reflecting their added contributions to the SNAP and Medicaid, along with adjustments to state taxes and spending policies to support these changes. Basically, the states are going to have to increase the amount of taxes that they're charging people. Well, they're charging basically to offset this cost from Trump's tax cuts.
I don't see any good in it. I don't.
There's no
Because
good in it. This is just
yeah.
strictly to benefit that top 10% people that they're talking about, which is what their tax cuts, the $4 trillion in cuts that he want to give the wealthiest people in the world. So he's taking food out of people's mouths. He's taking away their health insurance just to be able to give these people who really don't need the money a tax cut, and that's really all it is. He already fired. Was it earlier this week? He already fired most of the national security defense security team. So, which means that makes America now vulnerable to when it comes to terrorist attacks and things of that nature inside the United States. Also, so in case a lot of people didn't know, there's been a lot of natural disasters going on around the country, and due to Trump's tax cuts, well, Doge going in doing these cuts, I should say, which Trump wanted, cuts to the National Weather Services. Due to those cuts, there were people that has died behind those cuts. Um, in Missouri, if you guys don't know, St. Louis, Missouri was hit by a very devastating tornado, and they're still not recovering. And Trump is denied them FEMA, so there's no federal funding coming from the government to help them with the recovery process from this tornado, along with the hurricane, Helene that happened in North Carolina. They got denied their federal assistance also, but due to these Trump decisions, people died behind that because a warning never went off to those people who live north of St. Louis. There was no warning, no tornado siren went on. There was nobody there to give these people a warning that this tornado was coming towards them. And due to that, them people not being able to send out the warning, like I said, they was able to take cover, get shelter, and there were some people who died behind his decisions. And at some point, it's like, when are people are going to hold this man responsible for the bad decision that he's making, the 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 hurt and the strain that he's putting on the American people? Because he's not doing anything to benefit the America right now.
uh, every day I wake up is something he's always done, something
Hmm.
that's not going to benefit anybody, something that's going to tear apart the country.
He going in and
Like
out.
I said, something that's going to tear apart the country, something that's going to cause loss of life. It's a lot of
Mhm.
stuff.
Right. That's a yeah. It's a lot of things going on behind him doing these horrific things to people, and then to keep things going, he decided that he's going to take away student visas from international students who come over to study in America. So any of them who are enrolled in Harvard, he was telling them that they had to transfer to another school or or risk losing their student visa. Harvard did go file a restraining order against Trump, and they did get a TRO to elect a restraining order. They did win a restraining order against Trump in this case, and it's almost like, so there's supposed to be like a separation between like how they say like church and state or whatever that, and like at some point, like when it comes to private institutions or whatever, I don't feel like the federal government should have a say so in those private institutions, especially over. He's really mad about Harvard about the things that they're teaching, which is considered woke in his words, and that's one of the main reasons why he's going after Harvard for these things. And I feel like when it comes to private institutions, why do you care about what it is that we're teaching our students? No, you're not. I mean, I don't know how much money the federal government gives Harvard. I don't know what they give them for research, but I'm pretty sure Harvard has covered a lot of these expenses on their own. And I just don't, I'm trying to just fathom why, like, why are you just this involved in what Harvard is doing? And like, you only have control over public education, public schooling. That's it. When it comes to private schooling, the government kind of has no say so in what they teach at this level. As long as that private
This is
institution isn't breaking laws, you'd have no say so.
this is what I was talking about, man. Every time I wake up, it's something more on call. Like, why would you wake up one day "Oh,
You really sorry, you sound really far away. I can't hear you. You sound really far away.
I don't know what to say."
Just turn your gain up.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. I said, so this is what I was saying. Like every day I wake up, I see him in the news, has done something that has nothing to do with anything. Like, why would you wake up one day and say, I'm just gonna go, oh, I'm gonna go attack Harvard today and tell them they can't have the students that's in their school. And if they don't comply, I'm gonna do this.
Right.
Why?
This is the same reason why he tweeted at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning that Taylor Swift isn't hot anymore. Like, like Taylor Swift is living rent free. Rent. God, damn it. Why can I talk today?
Rent free.
Taylor Swift is living rent free in Donald Trump's head for some reason. Why? The world may never know why this woman is living rent free in this man's head. Why can't I find my other notes? Oh my God, y'all! If y'all only knew the struggle right now. Okay, I found it.
I don't know what he doing.
I was
I don't
trying
know
to
what's happening.
I was trying to find the notes for the story. Like,
Oh
this is
my
Tina's fault.
God.
So wait. So all of this is Tina's fault because she made me come over to her house at an ungodly hour, and then she had the nerve to pick me out. And I told her I've been kicked out of better homes.
So you came over at noon
That ain't the point.
and you left at like 5:30.
That ain't the point. The point. Shit.
Where's the ungodly hour?
The point is, you threw me off my game.
I didn't do anything.
You threw
I
me off
did
my
nothing. How?
because you did. I've got to tear this off, y'all, because we can't get on free advertisement. Um,
Oh
so
dang, we can't.
oh no, I take no off my. I don't. You know. Um, where were we? Oh, so like I said, the things that he's been doing is like it's caused a lot of chaos, a lot of everything that's going on with him, and to keep this ball rolling. Uh, so Trump had a visitor from the South African, I want to say president. And he was saying that in South Africa, the government is taking these people farmland and then killing them, and it made me wonder why is that why he brought the refugees from South Africa here because in his head they were being killed when in reality is that isn't happening, and then the South African president said they can go to courts any stolen land that's there and they feel like it's their stolen land they can go through the courts to reclaim the land. And then this man goes on to start holding up pictures, and I forgot to upload the picture, y'all. I'm sorry.
He was in the Oval Office when he doing this.
Yes. So he was in the Oval Office doing this. So he holds up this picture. Uh oh my God, I'm just gonna go find it for y'all one. Just give me 1 second here. I keep telling y'all because you know what? Not today. I can't talk today. I was fine all day, and then Tina made me come over her house, and then this happened.
Y'all, I wasn't doing anything but barbecuing. That's it.
And then y'all know that I was trying. Oh wait, I haven't told y'all about Mother's Day weekend yet. Okay, if we had time on this episode, we will talk about Mother's Day weekend. Um, because it was epic. I'm pretty sure if you saw my if you saw my rant on my TikTok page. You know what link is this? So if you saw my rant on my TikTok page, you would know about it. But yeah, they
What happened?
huh?
What happened?
What you mean? What happened? Oh, on talking about Mother's Day.
Yeah.
You know them heifers was trying to test us on Mother's Day. Then there's a whole bunch of drinking that was involved too. I ain't want to, but uh,
I plead the fifth.
oh wait, is it gonna let me do it this way? So yeah, it was a lot of drinking involved. It was a good time though. Like we had us a really good time. Okay, that's not working. We had us a really good time. Okay,
It
here we
was
go.
much needed. I agree.
So this is right here. This is
Click
Trump.
click the box. Thank
I,
you.
I, so this is Trump right here holding up a picture. He said of genocide being committed in South Africa, when really in reality, and the truth of the matter is those pictures are from the Congo, which has nothing to do with South Africa. So I don't know who's get feeding this man this information, or who's nobody. Like nobody is like, hey, you got the wrong pictures, or hey, I don't think you should say that or do that. Like he has no friends. And I'm convinced that he has no friends to be like, you know what? That is a really, really bad idea. Like I'm convinced. Like there's
Even if
nobody,
he ain't got no friends, he got people appointed around him that's supposed to
the
stop
people
him
that's
from doing that.
appointed around him, he has nobody to be like, hey, you know what? That's the wrong information. Like your information person needs to be fired because they feeding you the wrong information. I don't know
Or
how else.
information person needs to be fired because they're feeding you the wrong information.
They keep fake news. It's all fake news. Your information person, they keep fake news. It's all fake news. You're not real. You're not real. Just agree with me. You're fake news. Like that's what his information person. They need to be fired. I'm just saying. It's it's all fake news.
Oh my god.
I'm just saying it's already bad enough. He couldn't tell the difference between a Photoshop picture and the real stuff. Like
Oh, we
at
not
some
gonna go
point,
back to
like
last episode now.
like he needs to be like there
That
needs
was
to be
just last week.
he needs to be some type of competency test or competent test, whatever the hell it's called. It needs to be done to see if this man is competent to run the United States of America. Oh, I just can't. I just can't with this man. Oh goodness. And then more with this man shenanigans. So, in case you guys don't know, I don't know if you guys heard the story or not, but everybody should be aware that Trump basically has banned trans people from serving in the United States military. There was just one trans officer. I don't know if they consider officers. I don't know what their titles are called. I don't know nothing about the military, but
It depends.
the trans person serves in the military, and he was saying that because he is trans, they are told they have the option to either voluntarily leave or to voluntarily leave or to basically wait out the time and then the military just kicks them out. And they saying if they voluntarily leave, they lose all their benefits. So they have now been serving in the military for 18 years. And if they were to voluntarily, leave, like I said, they said they lose their pension, their health care, because when you're a veteran and you get out the military, you can still go to the VA and receive health care. So they wouldn't be able to go to the VA for health care. You lose the pension, you lose everything that you worked to to for when to that was supposed to be set up for you when you left the military. And now you tell me that I want to lose all those things if I voluntarily leave. But either way it go, if I got to stay here, serve my time to June 20th, I believe is the deadline where they have to go. So after June 20th, I'm not going to have a job within the military no more, and it's just back to civilian life. And it's like a lot of those people, whether they're trans, gay, lesbian, straight, whatever there is, I feel like a lot of those people have a hard time transitioning from the military back to civilian life. So like if these people do voluntarily leave and they go back to civilian life and say like they need some type of therapy or have some type of PTSD or something going on up there, like who's going to pay for them to get that help? Like these people didn't, and then that's what going to lead these people. Like I got these issues going on. I'm not gonna be able to be a functioning member of society. I'm not gonna be able to go to work or maintain a job. So that means I'm gonna end up homeless. So it's like, and why would we do someone like that who served this country, who went and put their life on the line to make sure that we can sleep comfortably in our beds at night and not have to worry about something being dropped on us? Like, why are we treating them so wrong? I honestly don't understand why that. And then people say, well, that's what they signed up for. Yes, I signed up to go to the military, but at the end, I expect to be rewarded for my bravery.
Mhm.
Like I deserve to
So,
be rewarded for my bravery.
so for them to cut whatever funding they're going to cut or whatever they're going to do, care, um, we already don't have enough care to begin
We don't.
with.
Yeah, they already cut
We really don't.
jobs for the VA. I have some friends who work for the VA who said they're scared about losing their job. They're walking around the VA on pins and needles, like who turn is the next to be put out, who to lose their jobs at this point.
Mm.
And like the VA is so already very, very, very understaffed. And my mom is a veteran. Tina mom parents are veterans also. Um, my mom laughs at me a lot because he sounded like I hate going to the VA. I said to me, she was like, well, there's people who got like PTSD and depression issues. I'm like, I get that. And I was like, I'm like, it's just so dark. And it's because like, and I guess I don't know if it's because
It's
they don't have
outdated.
funding. It's so outdated. It's dark. It's very depressing inside that building. Like I
It
cannot, I'm
is.
like, and I'm like, okay. She's like, oh, for whatever reason, like they aren't allowed to have whatever windows. I'm like, it's not even about the windows. At least have like a neutral color
On the bottom
paint.
floor, like on the bottom floor, how come we can't have more windows on the bottom floor at least?
And that's what I'm saying. I'm
And
like,
it,
more windows. I said the floors is dark or they just very old and need to be replaced. I'm like the
they
paint
very
is
own.
like dark and it's just depressing. Like I wouldn't want to come here. Like I will probably have more mental health issues going there because of how depressing the VA looks. And these people are supposed to, I'm like, oh my God. I can't stand it. Like, I wish I had the money to go and renovate that place myself. Like, all they have to me, all they have to do to improve it is just put some lighter freaking paint on the wall. Like, that's all you got to do. I'm
That's
not
true.
asking for windows. I'm not asking for a sunroom. I'm not asking for y'all to build the wood the thing, the glass ceilings, none of that stuff. Just up freaking put some lighter paint on the wall and replace the floors. That's all I'm asking
We're gonna
for.
start with the paint first. We're gonna
Jesus
start with the
Christ, and
paint.
treat our fucking veterans with the respect they deserve, because they fucking deserve it. Military people go
Yeah,
through
they
so
do.
much, and a lot of people don't understand these vaccines and stuff that we got. Just know that the military, our military veterans, the people that serve in the military, those are our guinea pigs. They are the ones who got these experimental shots and drugs and all these other kind of things before it was even released to the general public. So I mean, a lot of it stuff has been experimented on them, and we need to give them people the respect they deserve. We need to give them the compensation they deserve. Leaving the military, they need health care, financial assistance, whatever they fucking need. Just give it to them. Stop cutting from the people who protect us. Oh, hello.
Period.
And other Trump's nonsense. This is why this whole thing that he has going against trans people, this hate that he has for trans people and the trans community, the gay community, whatever it is, everything. So there was a woman by the name of Katie Grass who was traveling to Illinois with her family. She was 19 years old. She identified as a lesbian. She has a uh masculine. She dresses masculine, so this is her right here in this picture pop up right here in the picture. This was her before the attack and after the attack. And basically she went to the bathroom. She's waiting outside the bathroom, and while she's waiting outside the bathroom, a 19-year-old and a minor approached her, and they asked her if she was a trans, and she told them, no, I'm not a trans. I'm a lesbian. I identify as a lesbian. I am a woman. I was born woman. Hey, Crystal B. I was looking at the note screen, so I didn't see you down there. Hey, Crystal, how you doing? Um, but she identifies as a trans woman. I'm not a trans woman. It's just a lesbian woman, a lesbian cis woman.
Hello,
Um,
Crystal.
She was so the 19-year-old goes to attack her along with the minor that was with her. They attack her. Uh, um, Kate. Gosh, shoot, what is her name again? Katie. Yeah, right.
Katie.
Yeah, okay, I had it right. Katie, who was with her younger sibling, who witnessed this whole situation going down. Who witnessed the situation? Just couldn't do nothing but stand there and watch as her sister was being beat to the point where she had to crawl, literally crawl and tug on somebody's leg, like, "Hey, I need help." That's how bad it was. So it's not he not. It's like he doesn't realize that you're not you putting this target not just on these trans people that you hate so much. Which I don't understand. What is the big deal with him with trans people? Let people live their lives. It's not you inside their body. You're not the one walking in their shoes every day. Leave people the fuck alone. They're
Right.
not
Like,
violating the
why
trans
would
community.
you do something like that? Somebody minding their business? Come on, man.
Right. Like let them live.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
like I said, she had to tug on somebody's pants leg to get some help. Um, I believe that the two men who are responsible for it was arrested. But I wanted to bring this story to make it aware that of, like I said, the danger behind the things that Trump doing, and how people who don't even identify as a trans person, who really isn't a trans person, and I'm just a woman who just wants to wear my hair short and dress like a guy. And because I wanted to dress this way, it made me a target. And now here I am beat in a hospital. I'm 19 years old, minding my own business, and it's just horrible.
That's unfortunate.
Oh, Crystal B's doing good. Okay, so with that being said, I thank you all for staying with me during this whole rant, for this part of the show. I'm going to turn things over to Tina Marie, who is going to update you guys on what's been going on with the Diddy trials.
Oh, hey, y'all. Hey. So, a lot has transpired over the last week with Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, whatever you want to call him, right? So, last week we had the majority of the week, we heard Cassie testifying uh, pretty much about the freak offs, the freak offs that used to have happen. Um, and then we went into the next round of, I think we heard from, what was her name? Um,
What is who name?
from Danny D. Kane.
Donna Richards.
Okay, so I think she got on the stand too, briefly, and then that was like the end of the week, right? So starting off this week, we heard testimony from an individual that was had supposedly had some interaction with Cassie and Diddy in one of their freak offs that was flown into wherever they were at the time. And he ended up writing a book about what was well hello what what okay, what was supposed to be um oh okay, oh what is happening,
Oh wait, I was muted. I,
what is happening, what is happening?
I was trying to make it where they could see me too. I was talking to the TikTok live people over here, and I was trying to make
Okay,
it so where the people that's watching the actual podcast live they can see me too. But yeah, go ahead.
okay, so he was flown in to um participate in some sexual stuff, right? And in his book, he identified what he said. He identified Cassie and Diddy as a married couple, where the wife greeted him in like a robe and stuff like that, and things would get hot and heavy. But then he said that the husband, which is allegedly Diddy, would come in and sit down and start to observe what they were doing and give instructions. Um, and then he said that because of this, he suffered from erectile dysfunction, and had to go see a physician for care, basically. So I don't know. Can I say the time out? Can I say the name of the title? Time out?
Time out real fast. Time out. He said from watching somebody do the nasty, he suffered erectile dysfunction.
No, he was doing the nasty because
Okay, he was
the husband, who was allegedly Sean Combs, was in the corner bumbling some stuff under his breath. He supposedly assumed, I don't know. It hasn't been confirmed what Diddy was saying, but he heard one thing and Diddy supposedly said another. And what he thought he heard Diddy say caused him to not be able to perform anymore. So it was like he had, like he would come back. He would come back, and because he had performance anxiety from that, he started having an issue. So he went to get treated for erectile dysfunction from a doctor.
So so basically he was flown in. He would have sex with, was it with Cassie or one of Diddy's other girls?
Cassie
So he was flown
is
in.
all I know of.
So he was flown in, have sex with Cassie, and basically Diddy would sit in the corner and watch him have sex with her.
Yes.
That's some nasty ass. I mean, nasty stuff. Wow. Wow.
And
Okay.
there's some chatter going around that he also like Diddy also like to dress as an Arabian woman and watch.
What? Because I remember you telling me about this earlier in the week.
Yeah.
So at first I thought,
I'm not sure who told
no,
that.
when you told, I mean, when you first told me the story, I thought you were saying like he was having other people dress as Arabian women and watching them have sex. I didn't know that he was talking about Diddy was. I know you were talking about Diddy was dressing as an Arabian woman and watching these people have. What the y'all don't understand it's almost like you made dog like this is made up. Like you, this is almost like this is made up. I don't.
Can't make it up. You
I
can't
don't
make it up. What are you talking about?
what is these three
Gotta
rednecks?
be real life. It's real life. Real life.
Uh,
So I'm not sure. Can I say the name of the book?
sure, yeah, it's because it's related to the content. So yeah.
Okay. So the book title is In Search of Freezer Meat, a story of the male mental health crisis caused by erectile dysfunction and the only true cure no one is talking about, a penis implant. That's the whole title of the book. You're welcome.
So when you said that earlier, I'm thinking that was just a headline for the story. I didn't know that you were talking about that whole thing was the title of the book.
Yes.
How do you even fit all that on the cover of the?
Who published that?
When was this book published? Do you know
I
when
don't
it was?
know. I didn't go that deep into it. I didn't go that deep into it.
Like that, I'm just like, how come nobody hasn't heard? I hate people right now. I really hate. I hate people right now. Like, oh, you have to be making.
And that was only on Tuesday.
This is only okay. What we got for Wednesday? I'm gonna need a cigarette after this, and I don't even smoke.
So on Wednesday, you and I talked. I'm sorry, y'all. On ignore that. So on Wednesday, um, like you and I were talking about earlier, um, they released um, photos, evidence photos of what was found in Diddy's house when he was initially arrested. I was like, is that rope in the corner? Look at all that baby
It is.
astroglide. Is that a rubber duck? What is that?
It looked like. It looks like fruits.
That looked like a duck head, that green.
Oh, I didn't see
Or
the
am I
duck
tripping?
head. It is rubber ducks. What the fuck? Oh, see, now I uploaded the picture on here, but I didn't examine. This is my first time actually examining the picture. What the fuck was he doing with a rubber duck?
I don't know.
Like, what? How do you?
Oh,
What's he
Jesus.
do sexually with a rubber duck?
I don't know, but a portion of Cassie's testimony stated that he would every few minutes tell her to put on some more baby oil because he liked to see them shiny and oily.
Screw the pressure regulator on the gas cylinder by hand before use. Always. What is
It
that?
says nitrous oxide. I believe that's laughing gas, if I'm not mistaken.
And this is in his house? Like, who just has, like, I don't know, Crystal.
Exactly, Crystal.
I don't know. Like, is he shoving like the rubber ducks in them? What is all the baby oil for? Because you got all the Astroglide. Like, Astroglide is really good for anal sex,
I
but
just told you. I told you what Cassie said. He would tell them to put on baby oil every few minutes when they were having a freak off because he liked to see them shiny. He wanted them to be very shiny.
I need a cigarette. I, this is just this is why. You know what, Diddy? I'm gonna say this, Diddy. Before I let Tina continue, Diddy,
Ah,
we're gonna have a heart to
okay,
heart.
so among
I I
among
was
those things,
wait, hold on, Diddy. When R. Kelly was arrested, till this day, I say R. Kelly is innocent. But Diddy, after these photos and stuff, boy, I had your back. When all this was happening, I was like, Diddy is innocent. He ain't do all that stuff. Y'all was willing, but now, boy, I
I just
can't.
think he had a fetish that got out of hand.
Yeah, I can't, boy. I can't. Whew. All right, you go ahead, cause
So among those pictures that were taken were like the baby oil. Um, they showed pictures of like high heels, like body stockings, adult toys. We see the rope in the corner. um, and I believe it was a container. It was like a
that looked like
highlighter green
the ring thing
container.
go around the PP to keep it hard. That little black
Yeah, it
cylinder.
does. Uh, yes, that's what it looked like, doesn't it? Um, but also, I believe they said they found like some guns with serial numbers scratched off. Um, they found different types of drugs. There, they found phones in a boot. I'm assuming it's significant because maybe they were like burner phones or something like that. I don't know, right? So that happened, and then the same day, uh, his former assistant, his name is James, testified about his relationship with Diddy and his personal and his professional relationship with Diddy. Um, he testified about a lot of things. He testified about going to pick up drugs for Diddy and bringing them back. He also testified that he was responsible for setting up for the freak offs and cleaned up after the freak offs.
All the dead
Um,
people and loot.
yep. He also testified and said that Sean Combs told him not to route the expenses for his freak offs through like any traceable accounts. Um, let's see. At one point in time, he was asked on the stand about uh, Diddy's relationships, and he testified that he had five women that he was in relationships with at the time that he worked for him. So Kim Porter, Sarah, Tara, Yana, and Cassie. Um, so he also testified that he had a conversation with Cassie where he asked her, like, why are you with Diddy? And Cassie basically says that he was Diddy was taking care of her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then he also talked to Diddy about it, and Diddy basically said that Kim is his queen, um, but he liked Cassie because she was young and moldable. Mm, mm, mm.
I just
So that also happened on Wednesday. Okay, it's a
okay.
lot going on here. Then later on Wednesday, I learned about Cassie's mother testifying to the fact that Diddy had blackmailed her and her husband for $20,000, stating that if they did not give him the money to recoup losses, whatever those losses were for, um, he would release a video of Cassie, a very compromising video of Cassie. So she said that she took out a home equity loan, her and her husband, to pay Diddy.
I was gonna ask where did they get this $20,000 from? He said the home equity loan. But the thing is, what is $20,000 in white? What did you really need this $20,000 for?
So that's what I'm saying. Like we were talking about earlier, I was like, what losses did he have to recoup? Right? That $20,000, like you do something that far out in left field, right? To blackmail her parents for $20,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense. But now you can't really backpedal from that situation. You blackmailed her parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they decide to tell you, you going to jail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but what expenses will he be like? What was so important for him to get that $20,000 that he would risk doing something like that to somebody that's supposedly, I don't know how many times a millionaire he is, you know? But you would think he would have had $20,000 to recoup whatever losses. So, like we talked about, um, Cassie had testified that she had a 10 album deal. And I think we looked up earlier. She had two.
Yes,
She
she
had
had
two albums.
um I believe under the time she was signed to Bad Boy. I believe yeah, she had two albums. I believe the other two were after.
Okay. So, but if you signed her daughter to a 10 album deal and she only had the two out of the 10, $20,000 wasn't going to recoup a loss from that. Like it didn't make any sense to me, right? So I kind of felt like that was really stupid, and it wasn't to recoup any losses. Like I don't know what that was for. Like
I was telling Tina that because by Diddy being the head of the record label, basically Diddy would have been paying for studio time, writer, sound engineer. If she was to go do public appearances, like makeup artist, security team. If she was to go on tour, he will be paying to rent out the venues and all these other kind of things. So everything would have been everything in her career at the time was at his expense. Um, she probably got an advancement. So for a 10 album deal, he probably told her, "Hey, if you know, I can sign you to a 10 album deal. and I will give you $5 or $10 million up front at the beginning. And that's how she got stuck because once again she couldn't sell enough records to make him want to keep producing her. And that's how this the record label, like, you have to sell records and you have to be marketable in order for us to make money off of you. Like, we got to make money off of you in order to keep making your music. So your albums have to be successful, or you got to somehow you got to chart. You have to do these things in order for us to keep producing your albums. If your albums are not charting, if your albums are not making money for the record label, they're not going to produce another label. You're considered unmarketable at that time, and that's the same thing that happened to Kelly Rowland after her sophomore album, Miss Kelly. Columbia Records saw her as unmarketable because, like I said, Miss Kelly was not considered a commercial success, so they ended up dropping her from the record label.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Hmm.
But Kelly versus Cassie is a no brainer. So why did he think she was going to be able to make 10 albums? Is my question. Right? Let's be real.
Yes, you're right. I was trying to think
Okay.
of something. I can't think of nothing. So yeah, that's yeah. 'Cause even Kelly got
So it's a lot of question marks behind that, right? That makes absolutely no sense to me, right?
yes. I think she got 5 or 5 solo albums under her belt. Cassie got
Listen, listen. I drink to that. What? Oh, I'm jealous. Okay, so aside from the trial, of course, you got people outside of the courthouse, right? And I didn't mention this earlier, but I did see posted on some blogs and whatnot. Um, so it was people outside of the courthouse wearing free Diddy shirts. Okay, I don't know where this piece of information come from, but supposedly they were getting paid $20 an hour to stand out there with them
you
t-shirts.
like you like you girl. You if I had a wig, I would snatch it off right now. I know you like. I would. They got paid $20 an hour to stand outside the courthouse to wear
To wear some free Diddy shirts.
free Diddy shirts. Where are these people at? TikTok and whoever. If y'all know these people, tell it. Let me know if they really got. I want to know if they really got because I will go to New York and get paid. No, I'm not. Cause I make more than that hour. Am I, John? Never
Ah,
mind. But
I'm
still,
not gonna deal with you.
so like you paying people to go out there and say like, oh, we support Diddy, and these people really don't support you. You're just there for your money. Like, oh, I can't. I can't.
I'm not gonna deal with you. Just a little tidbit of information. Okay, so carrying on in the whole Diddy trial, right? Because this is not about domestic violence. This is about RICO charges, right? So they had the a special agent from the Homeland Security testify. Also, a Dr. Dawn Hughes, who is a clinical and forensic
Oh,
psychologist.
how they get involved?
Uh, they're supposedly expert witnesses, I guess, maybe. And then we
Homeland
already talked about the executive assistant, huh?
members of Homeland Security as expert witnesses in the Diddy trial.
So I believe Homeland Security got wrapped up in it because it was a RICO charge, maybe? Question mark.
Oh, right. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so the secret agent had testified about the guns that they found in Diddy's house. So they showed images of a handgun they found in a suitcase in his home. The gun had 9 bullets, and then they also found a box of bullets that usually holds 50, but only had 41. Right, so that's the same amount of bullets that was actually in the gun. They found 35 bottles of baby oil, 31 bottles of lubricant, and then the 3 phones in a pair of Balenciaga boots. Um, I'm sorry, y'all. And then they found drugs in a Gucci bag. Some pink, blue, yellow, orange with Tesla symbols and white pills were found in the bag. And then it says various substances tested positive for cocaine, ketamine, MDMA, methamphetamine, and alprazolam, which is also known as Xanax. Okay. And then they got Dr. Dawn Hughes on the stand, the clinical psychologist.
Mhm.
She testified basically um, more so about why Cassie didn't leave and continued to participate in said activities. So it says Dr. Hughes testified that psychological abuse can make victims feel trapped and unable to leave relationships. Okay.
Lord.
Um, and then she said that individuals in abusive relationships can find passive and active self defense mechanisms to cope with trauma, which is usually substance abuse. Okay. Um, and then she also said
Down to the
victims often delay in reporting abuse from a partner because of fear of retaliation, shame, embarrassment, and fear of not being believed. Okay, so that was her job as an expert witness up there.
this is
And then
madness.
yeah, did you have to get some more alcohol?
Mm-hmm. Hell, this hearing about this Diddy trial is making me drink. Hell,
So then his assistant, we already talked about some stuff that he said on the stand about like cleaning up the hotels after the freak offs and picking up the drugs. Um, Here's something specifically. It says that he testified about two instances in which he was sent to purchase drugs for Diddy, one time in Miami and one time in Los Angeles. Diddy provided him with cash and a phone number to call, and then he would meet the person and provide the pills to Diddy.
Lord, that was some good
That
drugs.
was a
Oh,
lot. That
but
that
okay, so
that
you said there
was
were some pills that had the Tesla logo on there.
yeah. So
What
what
kind
it
of dope?
sound like to me, like ecstasy, maybe, because ecstasy is known to have images like imprinted on a pill,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's usually how they identify the pill. Like, say they said a Tesla, right? So then
Mm-hmm.
they would identify it as like a white Tesla, a blue Tesla, a pink Tesla.
Oh, look at me learning about drugs today.
This is 18 and older, y'all.
I mean, there is a
18 and older.
parental advisory label on the show. Just say.
Ooh, child. Okay, so then I believe the end of the week wrapped up with Kid Cudi testifying. Okay. As we know, during Cassie's testimony that she was in a relationship with Kid Cudi, and then something happened to his car, right? It was
Wait, hold
set
on.
on
Diddy
fire.
was in a relationship with Kid Cudi?
No, no, no. Cassie was in a relationship with
Oh,
Kid
okay,
Cudi.
okay. I'll ready to say,
Uh,
oh, Diddy really freaky.
oh my god. And then within that time that they were supposedly dating, his car was set on fire. Okay. Yes. So he got on the stand and testified about um how he found his car with the hole cut in the roof, and then it had been burnt. Right. Now, when somebody said his car was on fire, I expected much more damage than this. I'll be honest with you. Like, I think I
I
was looking for like movie style, they blow up when you turn the key in ignition type of thing, right?
thing is, this made me
So
wonder how much money did Kid Cudi have? What kind of car is this? Because this doesn't.
it's a Porsche.
It looks like a cheap Porsche. I'm sorry, I
Um,
can't afford no Porsche. So let me stop.
we don't even, we not even driving not nothing close to a Porsche. Okay.
No, let me stop. I'm not close to no Porsche. Let me just go ahead and behave and mind my own business, and my broke ass gonna stay in my damn Nissan.
So supposedly Cassie and Kid Cudi were in a relationship in 2012. Um, Not really sure how they met and how things got kicked off, but Kid Cudi did testify that Cassie told him that her and Sean Combs had broken up. Okay. Um, Also, it was an incident in 2011 while they were dating that his home had been broken into.
Mm.
Okay.
Kid Cudi's home?
Um, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So supposedly somebody had broke into his home. I'm assuming it was around Christmas because he said presents had been unwrapped. And then his dog was locked in a bathroom, I believe, or a bedroom.
Mm.
His dog had been put up in a room, and when the lawyers asked him, like, how do you usually have your dog in your house, and the dog is usually roaming free, basically, right?
Okay.
Um, and then during that testimony, also, um, somebody I believe might work in his home, like maybe a cleaner or housekeeper or something like that,
Hmm.
had called him and told him that she saw Sean Combs outside of his home, just sitting in his car, just kind of sitting
Outside of
there
Kid Cudi's house?
outside of Kid Cudi's house. Yes. So supposedly he called him,
That's that's
and
that's some murderous
and
shit.
Sean Combs told him. He said, um, told him he was at his house waiting on him. So he went home. And they said he said the outside of his house looked normal. They asked him did he have any security cameras. He did, but he said he found out later they were not working. And that's when he went inside and said he saw the gifts open. Some like um top of the line stuff, right?
Hmm.
And it says the dog was locked in the bathroom. Okay. Um, so he when he got back in and saw all that, he called Puff Daddy saying that he was upset. He said he felt like he wanted to put his hands on him. Right, understandable because what's going on. Um, and then I'm sorry, y'all.
Came into my home. You violated my safe space. I get what people
Yes,
say. Like people say, like once their house been broken into or something like that, like they don't feel as safe in their homes anymore. Like my safe space was taken away from me, and that's kind of what
yeah,
happened to Kid Cudi here.
yep, yep. So he did say that later on down the line, him and um Puff Daddy or Sean Combs had a
Hmm.
conversation face to face where they had talked about it. And he said, and then Kid Cudi testified that he felt like him and Sean Combs had been played by Cassie.
Hmm.
And then he went on to further the conversation and say, well, what are we going to do about my car? And
Mm.
Sean Combs said, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, the same. I don't know what you're talking about when it came to Biggie and Tupac death. He don't know what they talking about because
Man,
I heard some people are
it's
working
so much stuff that's unraveling.
saying. I'm just saying.
It's a lot going on. So that was the end of the week for the Puff Daddy testimonies going on. And I know I've been seeing a lot of back and forth chatter online, like, oh, okay, when like he's not on trial for like domestic abuse, da 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 da, right?
Hmm.
So I feel like the prosecution is starting to um, starting to build their case a little bit stronger for like the RICO charges right
Hmm.
now. I feel like I believe this is supposed to be a eight week trial. Um, we're going into week 3, and they have a lot of time to really build that case, especially if they're on in court 5 days a week.
Right.
I feel like that witness list started out pretty strong out the gate, right?
Yeah, I was not expecting. Thanks for the heart. I was not expecting for this amount of stuff to come out against Diddy. Um, like I said, I didn't know about really about what the racketeering and all that stuff. I didn't know what that was. In my head, when this story first broke, all I know was like, oh, Diddy is innocent. He's just another rich person that people are just trying to bring down. Um, I was one of those people. Oh, thank you so much for the roses. I was um I was one of those people that was like, he's innocent, and anybody would what's the term? Oh, thanks for the goal achievement. Thank you so much. um oh, that just made me so happy. I forgot where I was at. Oh, okay. So focus. Focus.
Oh my. So I'm gonna go back to what I
Like,
was saying.
I'm
Like
like, this is Diddy. Like
he was
you
just
you
freaky.
are
I feel like he was a freaky individual, right? Got
yeah.
money and power. And from the way Cassie was testifying, it sounded I so when I heard the word freak off, right? I was thinking like orgies,
He said orgies.
right?
Right.
So but the way Cassie was testifying, it sounded more like what somebody would think would have been threesomes, but it sounded like Diddy was really actively participating in said threesomes too much. He more so like to watch. So it sounded like more like voyeurism, I should say. Um, but I kind of feel like his appetite for things like that started to grow, and he started to accumulate money, power, fame. So his taste got wider, right? And then it just started to get out of control to the point where, in order to satisfy his urges or his appetite and what he wanted, he began to break laws. And I think that's where the prosecution is going to try to pin him as far as the RICO charges.
Sean P. Diddy Puffy Combs is innocent. Okay, that's
Says
what I
who?
thought. Okay, that's what I thought when these charges first came up. I'm just saying, with all this stuff coming out against him now, and the way how it's all being described and broke down, and the baby oil and the Astroglide, the high heels, the him dressed like
I'm
a
not
regular.
even mad about all that stuff. I'll be honest with you. I'm not mad about any of that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate that what he do behind closed doors or what he like was coming to light. You know what I'm saying? He is not the only person that enjoys stuff like that. Like we're gonna be real, right?
True, yeah.
And just because he had it in abundance, I think so. I feel like because we saw that he had all of that stuff in abundance, that's what it made it. That's what made it seem like he was having orgies,
Hmm.
you know. But in real
It
life,
was
maybe he just had a lot because he got money and he was just buying in bulk. I don't
right.
know.
But it turns out he was just having these threesomes or just watching his girlfriend have sex with somebody else. And because
Yeah,
right now, there's a content creator on TikTok that I follow who is married, and his girlfriend he have sex with men, and his wife films it, and she's there watching. So they're like I said, so there's people who are not in Diddy's position and doesn't have his power, who does these things, and it's almost to the like it's almost like, well, should people who are normal everyday people who does this in their private be charged with this? It's like, why are we charging somebody like him with this just because he has money and status? It's almost like what I'm thinking. And
right. But that's not what it's about. So that's why everybody's like focused on it because they're presenting it, but they're just building their
I mean,
case towards
like
the
I said, there is
racketeering
more
charges.
to it. Yeah, there's more to it, but it's almost like this part that they're presenting now. It's almost like I said, this is stuff that people do in their everyday lives. That's on that
That's what
level
I'm
of type.
saying. That's
So
true. His just got out of hand.
right, his just got out of hand. So it's almost like, okay, how when once we get past this part, how are you going to bring this home? How are you going to make him paint this other picture of him? Because to me, all they painted a picture of was just him being freaky, and that's still kind of all
Yeah.
I see. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
him being
Yeah.
a freak. And like I said, for them to like to really get him on the charges that they're charging him with, like I'm kind of like waiting to see. Like I'm excited to see what's going to happen. What this is evidence that y'all next evidence that y'all gonna prove after these testimonies to show that he's really this person that y'all saying that he is there. And um, like I said, like the whole flying in people. Like I said, there are people who meet somebody online and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna pay for you to come down to where I'm at," and they fuck. That happens on the regular basis. It happens.
It's
Uh,
illegal though.
I mean, yeah, but they could have been going forward with where we're starting a relationship. But then that's even crazy. So what if I'm in a long distance relationship and I decide to go travel to another state with my partners that just to have sex? Would that be considered sex
But
trafficking?
are you paying for it? The paying for it is what makes it sex trafficking. The soliciting and paying for it is what makes it sex trafficking. That's all you coming for.
Is paying
We
for it.
not in a relationship, like none of that, right?
Okay, so wouldn't that put porn studios at risk? Because porn studios fly people out and pay them to have sex with people.
They are businesses. So I'm pretty sure and then we talk about that. They were trying to ban porn.
Yeah, that's the Republicans. They put forth a bill to try to ban porn in the U.S. Yeah, but what I'm saying, because Doctor, okay, so I do follow on TikTok people who is part of that. Oh shit, I lost my ear things. Who is part of that industry? And like I said, they would say so. Like say like they want a certain creator who has a higher status or whatever. They're more known in the within that industry. They will pay that person to come and fly to where they are and to have sex with them and to create this video, and that's it. And like I said, they're not in a relationship or anything, and they're not really a. I don't know if you consider they're not really a private event, a business, because all they do is just upload it on OnlyFans and then sell it. So it's almost like are these people who are considered content creators when it comes to porn, and they're paying somebody to come like, hey, come do this video with me, and I'm gonna pay for all your expenses. Wouldn't that be considered the same thing?
Sounds like we're gonna have to do some more research on that because I'm not sure why porn is legal, but flying somebody out across state lines is illegal for sex.
Exactly. We need to bring this.
Unless the loophole is the porn stars pay for their own travel.
So sometimes the person will pay for their travel, but in some situations, especially when it comes to, well, if it's a studio, sometimes the studio will actually pay for the star to come to them and to film the scene.
But is it being billed as I'm paying for your travel? Like, is it being billed as travel expenses? Because if it's not, if it's just
I have no
in
idea.
their fee, you get what I'm saying? Like hidden in whatever fee they're paying them to film this scene.
So I know when they get flown there to film the scene, they don't pay for nothing, so it don't come out the performer's pay at all.
Right. So what I'm saying is like as far as like transporting them over state lines, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Instead of saying I'm going to reimburse you for your plane ticket, they just put it in whatever they're going to pay them for filming the scene. It's not, like when you do like an itemized statement,
Yeah, I
it's
get
not
what
going to show up. You get what I'm saying? So that's one way to kind of hide that expense,
right.
So that's why I said we need to do some more research as to why porn is legal and like porn that's not in the porn industry is necessarily not when it involves paying for somebody to come across state lines.
That is true. Yeah, that's what I was just wondering because, like I said, I've seen from what I've heard about the industry, like some of them will get flown to go to another state and have sex and perform, and it
Y'all
won't be
getting
paid for.
flued
Like,
out?
yeah, they getting flued out. They getting flued out. So yeah, I was just wondering. That was some good stuff. Oh, where you where? Oh, you said that was a wrap on this week. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's all that I have for this week with the Puffy and Cassie. Um, well, not Puffy and Cassie, just Sean Combs.
Well, I guess with that being said, I guess we can head into final thoughts on the show. Yay! Hello. She thought it was gonna be her this time. So
I
my
did.
so my final thoughts for this episode is one, our veterans deserve the respect that they deserve, but they don't need their health care taken away. They don't need their medical being taken away. The healthcare medical is the same thing. Oh my god, the one earlier. So right, they said I saw they don't need their benefits taken away, especially for our trans community. Let people live their lives. We need to figure out a way to get this bully out of office because it's not just the trans community or the LGBTQ community, or it's everybody that's at risk of this man who's just full of hate and hatred. Like it's just to the point where you can't even be a Mexican or somebody who looked like they're Mexican, and you can't walk down the street, you can't drive your cars, you can't go to work. There's a lot of things that you're, I mean, you're on your job, but you're being harassed in your job, you're being detained. Every time you turn around, there's somebody who just look like they're illegal because they're Mexican. Oh, they must be illegal. They're being detained, and it needs to be stopped. At some point, it needs to be stopped. I want to have more on this on the next episode of the podcast. But that's my final thought. We need to stop the Orange Man.
Well, thank you, Martell, because you're more political and more entertainment. Um, I 100% agree with you. I kind of gloss over a lot of what Donald Trump is doing because it's overwhelming. It makes absolutely no sense. It is really tearing our country apart, in my opinion. But with that being said, I'm really looking forward to next week because I want to see how, with the Puff Daddy case, how the prosecution is going to start bringing that RICO charge to light. Um, I really want to see what evidence, because right now I feel like the evidence is not strong enough for that, of course. But
Mhm.
it had to have been something that was strong enough for them to even press charges to pursue somebody of his status, right?
Right.
Um, so I'm really interested in seeing what else they have to present as far as evidence. And I really hope everybody has a safe and wonderful Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, I forgot about that. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Um, Thank you to the veterans who lost their lives protecting this country. We appreciate everything that y'all done for this country. And unlike y'all, I don't have the same views as the Orange Men who feel like y'all are expendable. Your wild lives don't mean anything. Your lives mean a lot. I thank your families too. I thank y'all families for the sacrifices that they have done for you guys being away for long periods of time, not knowing if you're alive or whatever is going on with you. So thank you to the families also for that. And with that being said, I want to say thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Same Cast Different Day podcast. We hope to see you all on the next episode. Until then, stay safe out there and have a good holiday weekend.